G'day Facebook friends, Rod Moore here from Moore Art School. Hope you're all doing really well. It's been a while since I've spoken to you on a live stream, and I think it's the first one I've done for 2018. So Happy New Year to those of you who I haven't said Happy New Year to yet. And just thought I'd do this live stream here today to bring you the results of our recent survey that I posted on our Facebook page. So firstly, thank you to everyone who took part in the survey. Really appreciate it because it helps me to plan forward what we're going to do for 2018 and into the future. So I just wanted to say a big thanks to everyone who took part in the survey and just give you an update on what the results were. And I also want to show you something else that I've been working on as a little project, which kind of coincides with the survey results anyway. And I hope you're all enjoying Learn to Paint TV. That's the one we did this week. It's the country path showing the light through there. So I hope you're all enjoying the Learn to Paint TV. Just before I get to the survey results, I thought I'd let you know. I get a lot of requests from people who would love to get the full-length downloads of the particular episodes of Learn to Paint TV, but maybe they don't want every episode. So they don't want to join the Learn to Paint Club to see the full-length version. But they want to pick one or two of their favourite episodes and get the full-length version of that. So what I'm working on at the moment as part of Learn to Paint TV is to be able to enable you to download the full-length version of individual episodes. So there might be a favourite episode of yours, maybe it's a Seascape, and or maybe it's just one here, and you think, you know what, I'd really love to get the full-length version of that because the full-length version obviously contains a lot more detail and information than what the version we release each week, which is the 20 to 25 minute version. So that's going to be happening in the next week or two. I'm just working on that at the moment because I do get comments from people all the time. I know some of you and many of you are actually members of the Learn to Paint Club, which I appreciate you being a member. But then there's others who think, I don't want to see every episode. I just want to be able to pick out, one episode that I liked, download the full-length version of that. So that's coming as well. So getting to the survey results, we had a lot of people respond to that, so I appreciate it. In first place, the very first one, and by quite a long way, welcome Denise. Thank you very much for joining us from Canada. Appreciate that. And for those of you who are tuning in, please let us know where you're watching from this morning or this evening, depending on where you are. In first place, and it was by quite a way, the most popular choice was, and I'm glad this was the most popular choice, was light, shadow and form. Learning how to convey a sense of light in a painting, which is a fundamental skill as an artist. When you start out as a beginner, you don't think about that so much. But as you develop light and shadow and being able to create form, a rounded shape through the use of light and shadow, becomes really important as you progress beyond being a beginner. And you can tell somebody who's really starting to get a firm grip on painting or art when they're able to convey a sense of three-dimensional form on a two-dimensional surface, which is what painting and drawing is, right? So that was the most popular survey result by far, and as I said, I'm quite glad about that because I've been thinking for some time that would make a good course for us to start to produce. So look out for that. In the next week or two, I'm going to be making an announcement about that and how you can enroll. And of course, with all of our courses, if you're one of the first people to enroll during our launch part, then you get big savings on the cost of the course. So please look out for an email on that. In second place, this surprised me a little bit, but it makes sense, and it's another fundamental skill. In second place, we had pencil drawing, learning how to draw, and when I do our Learn to Paint TV and so on, the drawings that we do are really basic, right? All we're doing is making a few marks just to indicate where we're going to place our big shapes during the blocking phase. So we don't focus on a lot of drawing. However, to be a good artist, you obviously need to be good at drawing. It is a basic skill. And I realised that over the last probably 6 or 7 years now that I've had Moore Art School going, I haven't focused a lot on teaching drawing. And, it's time that we start to do that. So I'm definitely going to develop a drawing course as well. And all of this ties in with what I want to show you in a moment. I've been working on a little project in the corner of my garage come studio, so I'll show you that in a moment. So drawing, definitely an important skill, and we'll be doing a course on drawing. It'll be a basic intro course, and I'll show you how to practice your drawing and so on. And then it's up to you, obviously, to go away and put that practice into play. And I think drawing can be a lot of fun. Often when I go away on holidays and so on, it's difficult to carry around easels and oil paint and everything that goes with it. But a little sketchbook and some pencils, quite easy to carry with you. Now, in third and fourth place, I think these two tie in together, was watercolour, a beginner's course on watercolour, which I was excited about because many of you may not know, but when I started painting myself, actually my very first couple of attempts were in acrylic, but then I gave up, as you probably heard my story. I packed it away and didn't touch it for a couple of years. And then I got inspired to get into watercolour. I went to a J.W. Turner exhibition in London, and my father was doing watercolour. And so I got inspired to try watercolour. And that was really the first medium that I started to work with, was watercolour. But I found it frustrating, and I couldn't find the right teacher at the time, and it just didn't quite work for me, and I progressed to oils and found oils suited me better at that time. But watercolour's always been something that I love, and I think you can create some effects with watercolour you just can't do with any other medium. So watercolour was a very popular choice in the survey, and I've over the last few years have had a number of people say, hey, can we do a watercolour course? And I've said, maybe one day in the future, right? But I've decided that 2018 is going to be it's going to be the year to try new things and expand our horizons, because I think getting good in other mediums and doing things like drawing can only help your skills in the areas that maybe is your preference as far as a medium goes. Welcome, Lynette from Louisiana. We've got everyone from the Northern Hemisphere. I don't know if we've got any Australians awake yet, although you should be. It's 9 o'clock or something. So welcome, Lynette. And for those of you who are on the line, please let us know where you're calling in from. Always love to hear where in the world people are. Yeah, so watercolour came up really popular. And the other one, which is almost neck and neck with watercolour, was pen and wash. Now, I love pen and wash because it's a great medium to travel with. I was just looking around for my, I've got a little watercolour travelling kit. I don't know where it is, but let me show you. I pulled out an old sketchbook. Excuse the mess in my garage come studio, but I'll just show you this quickly if I can. Maybe I can't. Hang on, just bear with me. Yeah, I love pen and wash because using ink pen to do a little drawing, little sketch. There we go. That's what I wanted to show you. Yeah, ink to do a little sketch, and then a little watercolour kit that I've got for travelling, doing little washes of colour like that. And I think it's a great way to to create a little journal. This is a little sketchbook journal of your travels, and also to gather reference material maybe for bigger paintings. So yeah, I thought watercolour and pen and wash, they go kind of hand in hand. So they make good choices, I think, for doing some future courses as well. G'day Barbara, how you going? In Victoria, good to see some Australians. And we've got Janet in Dewhurst, Nova Scotia. Wow. I imagine you guys are still in winter and snow up there at the moment. It's been hot here, so that's why I went a little bit quiet over Christmas, because it gets so hot in here that the acrylics dry too quickly. But now that it's cooling down, we're back into it. So watercolour and pen and wash, I'm going to do courses on those. They'll be, initially we'll do introductory courses for beginners and take you step by step through everything and show you, how to get started. And then we might add on other courses for those mediums later on in the year. So I'm excited. And there was a whole lot of other choices that all came in roughly in similar areas, but for the moment, we'll focus on those 4. Okay, so number 1 was the light, shadow and form course, which I'm excited about. I think that's a really good fundamental skill. Number 2 is our pencil drawing. So we'll do a course on that, beginner's intro to pencil drawing, and we might do an advanced one later in the year. And number 3 and 4 was watercolour, a basic introduction to watercolour, and pen and wash. So they're the courses that we're going to start working on developing. We'll start off with the light, shadow and form one, which as I said earlier, we'll do an announcement on that probably in a week or two, and make some great offers for early birds. Those who join us during the launch phase will get to save some money. So now what I want to show you is, just come with me, is what I've been working on. Now I started working on this before, I'm just going to turn the light off. I started working on this before I did the survey, because it's something I was planning on doing anyway. And even for my own drawing. Members of the Learn to Paint Club, I'm glowing red now, so don't worry about that. You'll see why in a second. But members of the Learn to Paint Club, you've probably seen some of the skill building exercises that we have in the Learn to Paint Club. And I wanted to develop that further. So what I've been playing around with, I guess what I'm going to have to do here is just turn this around, is this Lightbox. There we go. And you can see there, all it is just a baseboard, and I've got core flute walls which I've cut out, tacked them onto the bottom, put some tape there, and away we go, right? So this Lightbox, what it enables us to do is to really study light, okay, and light and shadow and form. Because the thing with painting is the ability to be a really good artist is to be able to convey a three-dimensional form on a two-dimensional surface, right? So our canvas or our paper is two-dimensional. To be able to make something look like it's real, like realism painting, and have form, we need to be able to show that form. And the way we do that is through light and shadow. So let me just show you this briefly, and hopefully that's I'm holding that steady. So this is a little foam block that I got from a $2 shop. Probably can't see it very well there. It's just made of foam, like a $2 shop. They have these type of things in the craft section. And a bit of timber for the base, core flute walls, and just a little lamp here. But look at, so the source of light's obviously here. That now shows us form on this three-dimensional object. We've got our light side, mid-tone, and our dark side, and a cast shadow. And what you may not be able to see is the reflected light off this surface hitting into this wall here. When you understand those different elements of light on different shapes, like what have I got there? I've got this ball there, and then we get something a bit more complex, like the mug. Now, when you understand how to paint the light, shadow, and form into these different types of objects, your painting will improve dramatically. It doesn't matter whether you're doing oils or acrylics, watercolour, pastel, doesn't matter, right? This is a fundamental thing to understand in any form of painting, any medium. So that's what we're going to focus on. And then with this light box, then you can shift, by putting the light source in different locations, you can shift the light around and get different versions of the shadow, light and form. So that's what we're going to do in the light, shadow and form workshop. G'day Janice, thank you. Yes, it is a good idea, and it's so simple to put together. So I'll show you how to put together a little light box. I'm not a handyman at all, right? I struggled for weeks to try and figure out how to do it, and then got some nails and put it together very, you wouldn't want to blow on it, put it that way. It's just going to fall over, but that doesn't matter. So I will show you how to put one together, but also in the light, shadow and form course, what I will do is I'll just include a whole lot of photos from my one. And so we'll learn about the different types of shadow, the different sources of light, how to create form and three-dimensional shapes, and understand values as well. It's a pretty important part of it is values, and put together a comprehensive course around that. The course will probably go for either 4 or 6 weeks. I haven't actually worked out the details of it yet, but I'll let you know. And it'll be full of exercises for you to do. Excuse me, I've got an itchy nose. Be full of exercises for you to do. And when you do the exercises over time, you will definitely improve your ability to convey realism in a painting. And I really think I think I said it before, but I can't remember, the big difference between people who are amateur painters hobby painters and those who are moving to that sort of intermediate to advanced is their ability to be able to capture form on the painting, you know. Unless you're an abstract painter, then who cares, you know, paint whatever you want. But if you're trying to paint any sort of level of realism, which would include Impressionism and so on, then your ability to be able to capture three-dimensional form, I think, is critical. And also to use other aspects of light, like halo effects and things like that. We're going to go into all of that in the course. So I think it's going to be exciting. You know, it's a course I've been thinking about doing for a while. And now that we're sort of into 2018, that's what we'll do, right? So look out for details on that. And once again, I want to thank everybody who took part in the survey. We had a great result. The results were pretty comprehensive, and you know, the light shadow form was the clear winner. So thank you all for taking part. Thank you for joining me here. I'm going to start doing more regular live streams with different, you know, hints and tips and so on. And we're going to have an exciting 2018, you know. I've got a lot of things planned, and in particular I'm going to develop the Learn to Paint TV even further. We're still working on different ideas with that, and look out for an email about being able to download the full-length version of individual projects. That's coming in the next couple of weeks as well. So there's a lot on. I hope you're enjoying your painting, and thank you very much for being a member of our Facebook community, and I'll talk to you all soon. Cheers for now.